Hi, my name is Steve Simpson. I'm a medical doctor and now work exclusively as a performance coach, specifically a mind coach. And perhaps most importantly, my work focuses on the unconscious mind because this is where I believe that peak performance lives. And one of the pleasures I get every day is emails from all around the world with people who've read my books or seen my videos or come into contact with my work one way or the other. And there are some questions that come up time and time again, and I thought, well, perhaps I should make a few short videos to address some of these common questions. Well, a note I had a couple of days ago was from a lady called Yulia, who is reading one of my books at the moment. And she said, I have a question for you. Do you have any suggestions of how to deal with difficult people? Well, I've got some observations. I'm not sure they're suggestions, but the first thing, tongue-in-cheek, I say, is have a look in the mirror, because there's a school of thought that says that if we find somebody difficult, then in some way they're reminding us of ourselves and some of the shortcomings that we can see in ourselves when we look in the mirror. So that's the first thing to bear in mind, and if that is the case, well, just knowing that will help you to understand at least where these feelings are coming from. And of course, if there's something you don't particularly like in yourself, never give up. We can all improve, even if it's only a little bit. The other reason why we might find some people difficult is that we have to remember we're human beings. There's 8 billion of us on this planet, and we've all inherited and learnt different tricks and mannerisms and behaviors. And so what is good for one person may not be good for another. So my suggestion in this situation is just to remember where we all come from, that we all are connected. We've all got much the same genes, and yet each one of us is an individual. And if we can see, I don't think people try to be difficult. So one tip is to try and see the situation, whatever it is. It might be a business meeting or a relationship problem. See the situation from the other person's shoes. Use a bit of your imagination and creativity and just feel what it's like to live in that person's skin. And then you may well get some insights as to why they're reacting in a way that you perceive as difficult. And the other thing is that in my latest book, The Psychoic Revolution, I talk a lot about language and about communication. You see, the problem is that when we learned to talk, which was only about 50,000 years ago, which is nothing really, we learnt what we didn't recognize was that talk and words are ambiguous. So even though we try and express things as elegantly as we can, there's plenty of room for people to misunderstand us. And when we learn how to talk, we lost to some extent an innate skill that we had, which was reading other people. These were the times before we could talk, so we were experts at reading body language and things like that. And that probably kept us out of trouble a lot of the time, and it's a shame that we have lost some of those skills and relied so heavily on talk, because communication experts will tell you that it's not particularly what we say and how we say it that people remember and go away and think about. Obviously, some of the words that we say are important, but it's this other stuff in the background, like our postures, our body language, and all of the other things that people will either like or can act like a red rag to a bull. So communication is highly complex. I'd say expect it to go wrong quite oftenly. You probably won't know when it's going to happen, and it'll come as a surprise. But the chances are that it's a miscommunication. And because of that, there's always, or almost always, an avenue where you can go back and clear things up. Often it's better to see people in person rather than writing an email or a telephone call, because the chances of that being miscommunicated or misunderstood are very much higher. So there's a few ideas on how to deal with difficult people. At the end of the day, there's a limited amount that you can do to change another person's opinion about anything, so just accept that. Life is full of compromises, And if we go into the wood looking for a perfect stick, which is an African proverb, the chances are that we won't come out happy, because there's no such thing as a perfect stick. There's no such thing as a perfect person. So tolerance is a virtue. We all need more of it. Again, one of these things that we can work at. So hope this helps. Let me know what you think. Goodbye.